I remember actually very specifically being at a sleepover with my friend Christina, and we were reading this handbook that she had gotten from her Girl Scout troop. Well, the first thing was that the handbook explained what a tampon was, and I had never heard of that before, so I was like processing all of that information. And then Christina was like, yo, by the way, if you put a pillow in between your legs and like rub it a bunch, that feels really, really good. And I was like, solid advice, Christina, thank you. I'm gonna start doing that. And then I started doing that. It was probably about 5th grade. So I had been masturbating for a while, but I didn't realize that what I was doing was masturbating, or that the like final thing that was happening was an orgasm. And I was on a plane, sitting in coach in probably about the 5th grade, and I had masturbated on the plane. So I'd already masturbated on the plane, not knowing that that's what it was, and I was casually reading a 17 magazine in which someone had written in and asked, please explain what masturbation and an orgasm is. And as I was reading the magazine, I started realizing not only had I been doing this, but I had been doing this everywhere and had no idea that I was just publicly masturbating all over the place because I didn't know what it was. And I had this like moment on the plane where I was just absolutely horrified. At school, in the car, like with my parents, just like, this is very chill, this is real cool. Like as if I was eating a snack. I was masturbating. And then I realized afterwards, like, oh, this is actually supposed to be private.
I do have a vibrator. I don't always use it. It's not so necessary for me to have one. Simple clitoral stimulation works pretty well by hand. I think the toys are maybe a little more fun when you have someone else involved. I don't really need them.
When I was 13. So by then all the girls were pretty comfortable with each other, and they'd practiced making out through saran wrap and all of this stuff. And there were just these nights where girls would be like, all right, I'm gonna go masturbate, and everybody would get under their covers and be like, and like you would hear all these sounds. And I think that the goal was to get off, but obviously at 13, nobody knows how to do that, so like you'd hear like fake sounds and be like, oh, yeah, that was great. But I just thought it was so bizarre that we were all in the same room. So I stopped, and then I just like whipped out my little contraband phone and started playing Snake on my Nokia. Not into the group masturbation thing.
I remember trying to masturbate when I was like 11, but I didn't understand what it was, but I had heard about it. So it was like this very weird thing where I was like, I'm going to masturbate. And I tried, but like I wasn't turned on or in any way like sexual or anything. So it was like this like weird, like determined as if I was gonna do my homework. I guess I tried for about 15 minutes and then I forgot about it for about 5 years. I don't know why. I was just like, well, I tried it. I couldn't, like just like running the mile in gym. I'm like, well, I tried it. I'm terrible at it. I don't want to do it again. And then, so it wasn't really until high school that I tried masturbating again. And that actually worked because I like understood what I was even doing. I think I was 15 and I was reading, not to date myself, but I was reading Spin magazine. And on the back, there was like this essayist who would write like a different essay every month. And one essay was just like a weird like erotica story about like a woman masturbating in a bathtub, and she was fantasizing about like a fire, and then a firefighter came in and had sex with her. And that was the first time where I was like, wait a minute, I'm turned on. I bet I could masturbate right now. And I did. And I will say, I remember masturbating and it wasn't exactly like what I had read it would be like. It wasn't that, so I didn't know if I had actually succeeded until I did it again. I'm like, oh, this has to be it. Because it's like this very new physical sensation that like, nothing else really compares to it. And then you have it, you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, you don't even know how to describe it, really.